wealth, fame, power. The king of the pirates had it all. I'm going to talk about ambitions and a really interesting call I just had. So I just got off a call with a friend, right? And it wasn't the call that was interesting. It was the interaction with a friend of a friend through the call, right? Because the friend just came out and was like, "Oh, hey, what's up?" And then as I was talking to him, I was like, "What do you want to do with your physics degree?" And he says he wants to be an astronaut. Right. And I was like, the reason I thought that was so interesting to me is because for me as a person, I always struggle to say my ambitions out loud, even with like stuff like this, which is like, to be very honest, like it's much more of a vlogging, logging situation, right? Like, even when it's just like me and the camera, it's weird to me to say like an ambitious. It was very ambitious. Like I remember I had the Star Labs thing that I talked about recently, and like that was very awkward to me. And I was like, oh dang, this just feels overly ambitious. This feels weird to say out loud. But like for that person, it was just like, yeah, I want to be an astronaut. It wasn't regardless of like, oh, will he or will he not? Because to him, he's gonna be an astronaut. That's his goal, right? And that's like a very ambitious goal. Like it's much harder to be an astronaut and to get into the NBA. Just for a quick comparison, and to get into the NBA is also very very hard. So it's like to kind of grasp that. It's like it's really awesome to see someone be able to do that so effortlessly. I have to learn how to speak English, man. But I don't know. I think that's something I have to do more. I think that's something that like, I think I've lost over the way as I've improved in my I don't say social communication, but more so like I've improved as a professional. Maybe let me use the word professional. Is that I think I come off as less overly ambitious. Like in my head, I would still have the same goals and beliefs and everything. Like every time I go into a project, I'm ready to think about what this project is going to be evolved 3 times over, right? But then how I communicate that is never really clear. So it's like it always feels like I'm hiding a secret. I think if you've ever worked with me on a project, it always comes off as this way, because like you ask me certain questions, I wouldn't give you my full thoughts. I'll give you the thoughts that I think you can handle at this moment. I think the reason I do this is because, to kind of like unpack for a second here, I think in my past experiences, especially being the leader of an organization, it's been much harder to get traction with an idea when it's very ambitious, right? It's met with much more pushback because it has to be like you have to be grounded, you have to be practical, you have to be realistic. So I think this that mentality is kind of translated to me when it comes to individual goals, because like okay, even though it's not a group goal now, it's an individual goal. I don't communicate it because it just feels like in my head there's a negative reaction, like oh it's gonna be pushback and stuff like that. Um, and I don't know. I think there's merit in it because like you do have to be realistic, you have to be practical with your goals. There's been many times I've had overly ambitious ideas, and it'll actually be much better to give 100% to the practical MVP versus giving 100% to like the magnum opus of an idea, and you only get like 1% of that done, or less than 1%, versus getting 100% of MVP done. Um, well, no, I think that's interesting. I think I'm just really impressed. I was like, just like that makes me want to be come off as more. I don't even say ambitious because I don't think like when I heard him say that, I didn't think, oh, this dude is obviously being like saying BS because like that's a very hard thing. I was like, oh, that's a really cool goal, right? I didn't. In my head, I was even like, oh, okay, is this going to become an astronaut? No, I wasn't even testing that. So I think that's something that maybe that's something I've been wrong about, because I think maybe what I was thinking in my head, right? It's like if I say like a big goal, then the receivers had they're thinking, can this person make this goal, right? But in my head, I'm not thinking that. I'm just like whether or not you can make the goal, it's your goal, right? So maybe that's how people think about it. But also then again, like there's a wide array of people. I think it's 8 point something billion people right now. So there's obviously going to be a variety of ways to approach something like that. Once someone tells you something ambitious, so I don't think it can be dependent on that diverse set of people. Um, but yeah, all in all, I have only a couple minutes left, so I should probably keep this short. All in all, I think what I want to do more now is be much more comfortable saying ambitious stuff out loud. But even more than being comfortable saying ambitious stuff out loud, I want to be much more um, I want to be much more refined to the point where I can make those stuff happen, maybe even comfortably. Right? There should be some ambitious goals that I think are ambitious that should be able to get done comfortably. I don't think my most ambitious ones should be comfortable because they should be pushing me to my limits. But I do think there's some stuff I should be able to say that's like, okay, I want to do this. I know how to do this. I know I'm going to execute on that plan, and that plan is going to work to some degree and with some improvisation and stuff like that. Um, I don't know. Just keeping that faith, keeping the work, and all that. Besides that, though, I have nothing else to say. So have a great day.